this is Nichelle, host of Chickpeas and Lentils, and I have heard your request. Today, I am making an oil-free vegan lasagna. Lasagna is one of my absolute favorite foods to eat, and I have taken it and made it starch-based compliant. So we are going to get started. We're going to start with half of an onion and 3 cloves of garlic. We're going to saute this. I have my broth here in case my garlic and onions start to stick. To that pan, I'm going to add some fennel seed. These are whole fennel seeds, and we're going to put them in the pan. I like a little heat, so I'm going to add a teaspoon of red pepper flakes, but you are more than welcome, of course, to leave this out. And we cook them dry in the pan, and they help release the oils. I'm gonna add a teaspoon of smoked paprika, and then a tablespoon of tomato paste. Now, I would call this a kiss meal, which is just a keeping it simple meal. If you already have the oatmeal patties that you can pull from your freezer, and if you already have some of the vegan Alfredo sauce on hand. Because if you don't have those 2 ingredients, then that's gonna add extra time and extra steps to this process. But like I always say, I always keep cheese sauce. Every week I make cheese sauce, and I keep my savory oatmeal patties in the freezer, and whenever I need one for crumbles, or like that would be like a ground beef replacement, I just pull them out of the freezer. I will link that recipe in the iCard. All right, just gonna put a little bit of our broth in here. It smells really good. I can smell the fennel seed and the smoked paprika. I love smoked paprika. I add it to everything. Okay, now we're going to add 1 15-ounce can of crushed tomatoes, and then 1 15-ounce can of tomato sauce. Now you can use canned tomato sauce, of course, but what I find is that there's usually added oil and added sugar, and so I just try and avoid it. But if you're in a, want to throw something together pretty quick and you don't mind those added ingredients, then you can just use a jar of marinara sauce. Okay, and to this, I'm gonna add a tablespoon of dried basil, and a teaspoon of oregano. You can use just the Italian seasoning blend. I didn't have any of that, but I usually like more basil than oregano. But of course, it's up to you how you want to season it. And turn the heat up on this. I'm gonna add my savory oatmeal patties. And these are still kind of frozen, so they just crumble really good in there. I'm just putting 2 of these in here. And you could also add other vegetables. You could add mushrooms to this. You could add some corn in here. We're gonna add spinach, but if you just wanted to add more vegetables for texture or for taste, that would be great. We're gonna have zucchini in this as well. And this same sauce would be great over just some cooked spaghetti. You could take the zucchini, chop the zucchini up and put it in the sauce. And this would make a great marinara sauce over any kind of pasta, spaghetti, fettuccine, just any kind of pasta. The bow tie pasta would be great as well. That would be a really quick meal. All right, so we're gonna leave this here on the stove to simmer, and we're gonna go to our ricotta, which I'm going to make with tofu. Okay, now we're gonna make our tofu ricotta. So I'm going to take half of a 16-ounce pound of firm tofu, and that's all we're gonna need for this recipe. We're gonna cut this in half. And we're gonna crumble this into 2 tablespoons of nutritional yeast flakes. And let me tell you, if you have an aversion to tofu, you don't like it, or an allergy, you can use white beans. You would just follow this recipe, follow this part of the recipe, and instead of tofu, you would use a half a cup of white beans. And you would just put those in, mash them up. You would put all the same spices in it. All right. I had some fresh parsley in my freezer, so I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons of fresh parsley, but you can use dry parsley as well. It will work. I'm gonna add a teaspoon of dried basil and a half teaspoon of oregano. A half teaspoon of granulated garlic. We're going to do a half teaspoon of all-purpose Greek seasoning. And then we're just going to incorporate all of this. And this smells so good. I'll be glad when it gets a little warmer and I can start my herb garden, because this would be so much better with fresh basil. And so we're just going to crumble this up with our fork. Get all the big chunks knocked out of it. All right, I'm going to take a little break right here and bring this all together. Okay, we're gonna put this all together. We're gonna start with this pan. Okay, this pan is a little smaller than I usually use. It is a 9x6 pan. So this is going to give us about 4 servings. So to the bottom of this, I'm gonna add some of our sauce. Now I would start out with about a half a cup of our marinara sauce. That smells so good. just a little bit more. We're gonna cover it. And to that, the next layer, okay, and to the bottom, we're just gonna add 3 lasagna noodles, and they are not cooked. And the reason why is that there's so much water from the vegetables that the lasagna noodles will actually cook as we're baking the lasagna. And when I made this before, I ended up with a little bit more water than I wanted in the final product. So we're not gonna cook the lasagna noodles. Okay, and then on our next level, we're going to put some of our Alfredo sauce. And this is probably just about a half a cup. And we're going to spread this out. See how quickly this comes together? Especially, like I said, if you have your Alfredo sauce ready to go, and if you keep those savory oatmeal patties in the freezer, this can probably come together in prep time, probably a few minutes, and it's gonna take about 45 minutes to an hour to bake. And the next layer is going to be our tofu ricotta. I'm gonna use about half of that there. And then I'm just going to add a handful of fresh spinach. 2 handfuls. I'm gonna take some of these stems off. And then our next layer is going to be our zucchini. And I just sliced this zucchini. If you have a mandolin and you can slice it really thin, that is going to be a wonderful final product. But I just used a regular knife. And this is like 2 medium zucchini. I'm gonna press that down a little bit. To our layer of zucchini, we're gonna add our marinara sauce. And again, as this bakes, the water is gonna be released from the spinach and from the zucchini, and that is what's gonna cook our bottom layer, which is our lasagna noodles. All right. We're gonna add the rest of our tofu ricotta. And we're gonna finish it with our Alfredo sauce. And in total, I used 2 cups of Alfredo sauce. Now I like a little crunch on my lasagna just for texture. And so I'm gonna top this with some panko breadcrumbs. And I've just added a tablespoon of nutritional yeast flakes. I've added some parsley, and I added, I think that was it. Yeah, just the parsley, nutritional yeast flakes, and the to the panko breadcrumbs. And we're just gonna sprinkle that across the top. The full recipe and measurements will be in the description box. Okay, we're going to cover that with aluminum foil, and we're gonna cook it at 400 degrees for between 45 minutes and an hour. And there you have it, our oil-free vegan lasagna. Doesn't that look good? Just a reminder that this channel is here to document my weight loss journey, and to also hopefully to inspire you to start your journey to wellness, whatever that may look like. Remember to comment, like, subscribe, and share. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time. Bye-bye.